Hi everyone, Sarah Picaro. This video today is going to be about anhedonia, specifically anhedonia that's developed after experiencing narcissistic abuse. And this can be narcissistic abuse, whether it's from a partner that you were with, whether it's a long-term relationship, a marriage, whether it's you were raised by narcissists. So anhedonia is really, really common. And I see it all the time in the people that I work with. And it's developed specifically with people that I work with as a result of having experienced narcissistic abuse. So, anhedonia, we're going to get into what it is, and then obviously what you can do to alleviate the symptoms of it and to not live under this anhedonia umbrella anymore, to live a happy, confident, thriving, peaceful life where you're completely content with yourself. You have healthy boundaries, you trust your intuition, your gut, you believe in yourself again. But that's the opposite of what it feels like to experience living with anhedonia. Living with anhedonia is not even living. It's a feeling of no excitement. It's a feeling of emptiness. It's a feeling of grayness, darkness in your brain, in your mind that just doesn't seem to go away. It feels really heavy. It feels like your entire body is just so weighed down that it feels like you feel nothing. You feel completely lost. Numb, flat, like there's no buzz, there's no excitement, no energy in anything that you think about or anything that you do. And sometimes it can feel really difficult to pull yourself out of the situation and the state you're in to even want to go do something with friends, even things that they're really, really excited about and should bring you excitement, joy, satisfaction. They just feel pointless, or perhaps you feel scared to even do them. It feels like torture to get yourself to go do those things. It just feels like just a sheer and utter frustration because you want to be excited to go do things, you should enjoy doing things, but nothing seems to bring you any joy, any excitement. It feels boring. It feels like it's a chore. It just feels objective. You just feel like it's just torture. So you get to this place where more than likely you disassociate, you disconnect, and you just can't enjoy pleasure or have experience from anything that you do. And after, specifically with people who were raised by narcissists or been in a narcissistic relationship for a long time, you can get to this place where you begin to experience anhedonia. Anhedonia is the inability to feel or experience pleasure. So this can actually lead to very, very harming, self-sabotaging behaviors because you can't feel anything and you will do anything to try and feel something. So it can lead to self-harm. It can lead to really destructive behaviors, thoughts, patterns of action. And it's a really, really common symptom of depression as well. If you've been with a narcissist or raised by one, or many narcissists had them in your lives, you can feel depressed because depression is this inability to feel any kind of pleasure. So it's it's linked to other mental health disorders as well. And I'm not in a position to diagnose anyone with specific mental health disorders, but do provide the ability to break through and transform your life after experiencing these symptoms and having those experiences from the past. Most people understand what pleasure feels like. Even if you haven't felt it for a really, really long time, you understand what it feels like and maybe have been in the space of anhedonia for such a long time that you haven't experienced pleasure in a long time in anything that you do. And so you begin to up the ante and go to even more extremes to begin to feel pleasure in your life. And you expect that certain things will make you happy, right? And this is true for all of us, whether you have been diagnosed with anhedonia or noticing that you have the symptoms of anhedonia. We expect certain things in life to make us happy, money, having a roof over your head, having a car, having a means and a vehicle to get somewhere, to go do things. Even if you have those things, you can still feel that that's not good enough, that you're not happy with them. So maybe it's where you live. You live in the mountains or you live by the ocean, and you can expect that if you go to the ocean or get out in nature, it will make you happy. Or you can expect that if you spend time with friends, that it will make you happy because you want to feel connected and you want to feel a part of something greater and bigger than yourself. And even when you do those things, you don't feel or experience joy, happiness, or inner peace. You still experience that inner turmoil and chaos in your mind. So it's anhedonia is the inability to feel joy. And if you're not feeling joy, what's living, right? You may feel like it's not even worth living and may have even taken steps to try and not live anymore. I personally have experienced that, and many people that I work with have as well, because they quite frankly got sick and tired of not feeling anything and feeling completely numb and feeling like they were just so disassociated and so disconnected from their body, from their experience of life, that it didn't feel like it was even worth living anymore. And the things that once made them happy and content, like maybe it was perhaps a relationship that ended. Maybe they're looking to get into another relationship, but can't even work up the courage to talk to people anymore. Maybe you feel this lump in your throat, or you just feel so much anxiety, or tail spins you into having a panic attack when you even think about connecting with people. So it can lead to social anhedonia, where you don't want to spend time with other people. So you maybe self-isolate, you just lock yourself away in your room. Yeah, you're on social media and not being social. You're just judging and comparing your life to what this perception of everyone else's life is. And so that's a type of social anhedonia. There's a physical anhedonia as well, where you don't enjoy physical sensations. And earlier I spoke to, people who go down the self-harm road because they just want to feel. And so they have to up the ante and go to extreme to just feel anything. And that can lead to fairly detrimental behaviors. So normally physical touch and physical connection should leave you feeling loved, supported, comforted, nurtured. But if you're experiencing physical anhedonia, rather than feeling nurtured, you feel empty inside. You feel even more empty inside. Even when it comes to things that bring you pleasure, like food or drink, those things taste bland. Even if you go to a really nice restaurant and you order the best thing on the menu, thinking, wow, I'm really going to love this. Like the waiter said, this is the best thing, the most popular thing. I'm going to get that. I'm just going to try it. And you get it, you try it, you receive it, and you're so uninterested. It just seems dull, boring, disgusting, and bland. Even physical interactions with people can lose their appeal. Sex or, intimacy should be a really pleasurable thing. It should be something that you enjoy and that you get you got to give and receive and have this wonderful connection with someone and experiences. But a lot of times in that as well, if you're experiencing physical anhedonia, there's no joy, no comfort, no pleasure in that. And that can even lead to really kind of off. That's not even, that's a judgment, but leading you to do things that are very, very extreme. And then not getting pleasure or joy from those, and really get into your head about that. So anhedonia makes relationships, particularly those with friends or family members, a really, really, really big struggle. With the reward of enjoyment completely gone or void or just completely null, it's really, really difficult to get motivation to even spend time with other people. And so you isolate and you feel alone. And it's a lot like what happened in 2020 when you were kind of forced to do that. There was a significant decline in mental health. So this is even without experiences like that. If you are experiencing anhedonia, not on top of anything else like a big pandemic or incredibly massive life change, where you receive invitations to join things, but you turn down or you skip them or you say no to things like parties or concerts or going outs or even one-to-ones or get-togethers, because you just have this belief and this feeling that there's not going to be a benefit in taking part in any of it. So why waste or spend your time doing that when you think inside your mind, it's just going to make me feel worse because of this anhedonia? So anhedonia can lead to social anxiety, can lead to panic attacks, anxiety attacks about even going out to the grocery store to get, necessities and things that you need. It can lead you to feeling like you don't fit in, especially when meeting new people or in situations where, maybe you feel comfortable with a small group of people, but then more and more people start to come in. Relationships are give and take. They thrive on positive feedback. So we're always getting feedback, whether it's verbal or nonverbal. And even though you're getting that, your perception, if you experience anhedonia, is that it's all bad, it's all negative, and it's all being taken personally. So without positive feedback, you're getting the opposite. You're receiving negative feedback. So imagine being able to tell someone that you love them and that you had a great time being with them or spending that with them. But if you have anhedonia, you can't even do that because you don't have those feelings of greatness. You don't have those experiences of joy or that you had a really good time. So it's loss of pleasure and joy in everything. And that, like we talked about before, can even be in libido. And that can take a toll on a romantic relationship, especially. So it's worth noting that anhedonia and any kind of mental health issue is not a black and white. It's not an all or nothing. It's not this and that. There's a whole range. There's a whole paradigm, just like with narcissistic abuse. So if you've experienced narcissistic abuse, it could be from someone who was really, really malignant, or it could be with someone who was really covert. So there's always a range, and there's always what I refer to as shades of gray. It's never black and white or all or nothing. But with this cloak of anhedonia, you may feel that it is all or nothing. You may feel that there's like great joy or there's no joy. So it's really difficult to find any positive emotions in any experience. So you just, in other words, feel like, well, okay, something that should make me feel really good for if you're a chocolate lover is having a slice of chocolate cake, and you have a slice of chocolate cake and then you're just like, no, it wasn't good at all. I just feel fat. I just don't understand why the things that I used to love, I don't love anymore. I mean, maybe you're looking back on photographs or pictures of when you were a little kid and you loved chocolate cake and chocolate chip cookies and all these things. And now you're in, in your later years, or you're an adult, and just nothing brings you excitement that used to bring you excitement anymore. So like I said before, it is closely related to and linked to depression, but you don't have to be depressed or sad to have anhedonia. There are other people who are affected by it. And this video is informational. It's not to diagnose yourself or anyone else, but it is linked to changes in brain activity. And that's why, hypnosis or rapid transformational therapy, neurolinguistic programming, all of those things that do change the neural pathways in your mind can be a tremendously beneficial and powerful method to break through the symptoms of anhedonia, to get your brain waves on a path of feeling and experiencing pleasure and joy now. But you've got to remove what it is that's blocking you from being able to do that now. And so any of, brain research, there's a lot of brain research out on there as anhedonia. Some people think it can be tricky to treat because there's no really clear way to do that. Lots of people that I've worked with have been on medications to help alleviate anxiety, panic attacks, serotonin boosters, dopamine boosters, things like Wellbutrin, to try and just have them feel happier, feel better, and have said that has helped sometimes. Or some people that I've worked with have been on medications like that and said, you know what, it actually, it either didn't do anything for me or it only worked for a time and then it stopped working because it's only trying to chemically balance you, because there can be an element of that where the hormones and everything are off balance because of those neural pathways that have been strengthened that lead down the road of depression and feelings of emptiness. So the way that I work specifically with clients to provide breakthrough and transformation is using the same power of your mind, but in a very, very different way, in a vastly different way, in a way that, because the mind does learn by repetition, breaking through what it is causing you to experience those symptoms, and then shift and change that so that every experience is one that's more profound, that leads you down the road to happiness, joy, and pleasure in your life. So if you have experienced anhedonia, specifically if you come from a background of narcissistic abuse, it's not surprising, because that leads down the same road, the road of depression, the road of self-isolation, the road of questioning yourself, wondering, feeling what's wrong with me, the road of not having boundaries, not feeling worthy or feeling guilty saying no, the road of self-sabotage. So narcissistic abuse and anhedonia are two different roads that kind of come together and merge into one. And if that's the road that you've been on, and you're sick and tired of doing things that don't work for you or just lead you to feeling even more isolated, more panic attacks, more anxiety attacks, more numbness in life, I would love to connect with you and talk to you about having an experience of having a breakthrough and a transformation from this, using the very same things that your mind has already set you up with to experience success. So yes, no, you're not alone. And no, it doesn't take years and years and years of therapy or tons of numbing out medication to experience a breakthrough and completely and rapidly transform transform your life. So hope this video has been helpful to you in both educating you about anhedonia and letting you know that there is a powerful breakthrough solution. If you're interested in finding out more about how we could possibly work together to get you to experiencing joy and getting you back out there and finding positive connection and interaction with people, because that's what we were designed to do, to experience joy and live a thriving life, not living a numbing life where just everything is a downward negative spiral. So if that's what you're ready for and you're looking for someone who understands that and a way to connect, then please click on the link in the description below this video and you can find out information about my services, what I offer, and what other people have experienced by working together, as well as a link to book a call for us to see if we're a good fit to work together one-to-one. Thank you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.